Sleep is king when it comes to health. Sleep and movement kind of run head to head depending on which study, which person you're talking to. But sleep has such a huge impact. And that's why today we're talking about it for day 6 of the 28-day Healthy Waist Slimming Challenge. So let's talk about sleep and how it impacts health. And then I'm going to give 2 tips that will help you get a better night's sleep. Um, Hopefully, if you do them consistently. So, sleep affects, well, I guess not just health. Let's keep it specific to the topic. So, sleep affects your waist circumference because when we sleep is not just when our battery kind of recharges, but it also has lots to do with our circadian rhythm and our hormones, and how all of those things flow. So the ones that I really want to focus in on are leptin and ghrelin. So leptin and ghrelin have to do with our feelings of hunger and feeling satisfied. I always doubt myself on how to pronounce this word, but it's like satiety or something like that. But like how hungry or not hungry you feel. And I remember this making so much sense when I first learned about it because in high school, I would often stay up way too late reading, of all things, huge bookworm. So not even like on a phone because smartphones weren't a thing. I'm aging myself a little bit here, but um, reading books, I would stay up way too late and then I'd still have to get up at like 6 to go to school. And I would feel crazy hungry. Like I was getting maybe like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and I would wake up in the morning like feeling like I could eat a bear. And it didn't really like I didn't really know the why behind it. But it was, the nights that I got the least sleep, the hungriest I felt. And the why behind it is when you don't sleep enough, then your oh man, and it's like escaping me. So the oh, I may get these flipped, y'all. It's been a little while since I've read about it, but I think the ghrelin is what makes you hungry. So the ghrelin, if that's right, but whichever one is the one that makes you hungry, is like through the roof, and the other one is in the tank, and then like that is gonna make you eat more, which obviously affects your waistline. Um, and they found that this just has a huge impact on how much you consume. And it's really hard to just like willpower through and overcome this because these are like internal chemical signals that your body is receiving and telling you, we need more food. And it's like you can be desperate for more food. So it's not, eating less and moving more is kind of like the classic, like, that's all you need to lose weight. But um, there's more to that involved because you can't just force yourself to eat less if you're getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night. Your body's going to push you to eat more because the hormones are going crazy in there. So I say that to say, I know that not everyone has the circumstances to sleep more, but like teenager Katerina could have slept more. She had just put down the book. Like that wasn't something that I needed to be doing. So if you have that in your life, whether that's, scrolling or like, scrolling on social media on your phone, or you kind of like leave all the chores for the last minute because you needed a breather after work, like, yes, take your breather after work, but maybe instead of like a 2 hour breather, maybe until you can get some other things in place, like a 30-minute breather, and then use an hour and a half to do the things that you would normally do super late at night. So that's one part of it. That's like not the tip because I know that some people hear that and they're like, well, there's no way I can go to bed any earlier. But maybe there is a way. Like, I just want you to realize this has an impact on what this challenge is about, which is like slimming the waist, and also on other aspects of health, and things like mood and things like that. So anyway, let's get into our, oh, and like inflammation, that also affected by sleep, by the way. But let's get into the tips. So the two tips are, one is to help you sleep better when you are asleep, and the other one is to help you get to sleep faster once you get into bed. Because I think most adults have had either many nights or some nights where you get into bed, but you can't seem to fall asleep and you're tossing and turning. So let's start with the second one first, because you may need a supply for this, and I want to kind of like have that in your brain. And the or sorry, I should say the other one first. So the helping you sleep better while you're asleep is with things like this. So this is mouth tape. The one that I'm using right now is Myo tape, created by the gentleman that I mentioned the other day, Patrick McCune. So I'm going to come closer so you could see what this looks like on a person. So the thing about Myo tape is it goes around the mouth and it doesn't seal your lips off, but it goes around the mouth. This is what it looks like on the thing. So it's like real stretchy. So you like stretch it around your lips, and the elasticity of it is going to hold your lips together when you're not deliberately trying to open your mouth to speak, or like you can still take a sip of water, you can still say something because your lips aren't sealed, they're just held together. As a heads up, you do want to make sure that your nose is clear. Leave me something in the comments if you need a nose unblocking exercise. There are a couple of different ways that you can do that. Some people even use saline spray. That's up to you if that's a route you want to go. But there are like breathing exercises you can do to unblock your nose. So leave me a comment if that's something that you want to see an example of. But you need your nose to be clear, so this is not something to go with if you have a cold or like congestion for whatever reason. But if your nose is clear, then you can use mouth tape. But this one, like I said, goes around the mouth. There are others that go over the lips. I've used one before that's like an X, like it goes over the center of the lips and just kind of like holds your mouth closed that way, like just with that pressure in the center. I just saw last week at Walmart, they have mouth tape now. It was in the aisle with like toothpaste and toothbrushes and stuff. There was just one variation, and the one they had goes over the lips and has a little vent hole in the center. If you do decide to use mouth tape, I have gone like on and off using it, and I started back now with the challenge. And man, did I have a good night's sleep? Like it makes such a difference, because when you breathe through your mouth while you're asleep, you don't sleep as well as if you breathe through your nose. And it seems like such a simple thing, like just a thing that doesn't matter. Like breathing is breathing, but no, for your body, breathing through your nose is much different, like the effects that it has on your body. So one thing is mouth tape. Like I said, they're like specialty mouth tapes that go over the lips. There's ones like these that have the hole so that you can still like open your mouth if you need to. You're gonna want to, whichever one you decide to go with, when you get it, practice during the day. Like use the mouth tape during the day so that your body can kind of adjust to that feeling. I remember when I first started using mouth tape, it took longer to fall asleep just because it like felt weird having this thing on my face. Um, and you can even use Patrick McCune recommends, like, if you just want to go to the drugstore, you can pick up 3M micropore tape. I've used it. To me, it's like real sticky when I take it off. Like I don't like the adhesive that it leaves. Oh, and these, by the way, if you do like, this is not sponsored or anything, but if you do go with these, he gave a tip a while ago, and I always do this, to where when you take it off, you like weaken the adhesive a little bit by putting it on the back of your hand 3 times is what I do. So like you put it on the back of your hand and kind of pat it down and then lift and again and again, and then put it around the mouth. And you're gonna like not want to have like a bunch of like lotion or cream freshly put on your face, because that will prevent it from sticking. So I like, my routine is like I let the stuff I use on my face soak in for a little while I'm doing other like bedtime routine things, and then I use like a little baby wipe and just like not like scrub, just like wipe away, just so like whatever is around the outside of my lips. And then I do my thing and stretch the weaken the adhesive on my hand and then stretch it over my mouth. Sleep. It's such a huge difference. And I'm actually glad that I had not been using it for a while so I could tell you all about the difference that I feel this week that I've been using it again. Okay, so that's one thing to help you sleep better for the time you are asleep. To get to sleep faster, there are several different strategies, and I'm almost torn on which one to share with you guys, so I'll share two. But for both of them, a key thing, we're going back to breath, is to calm your breathing. So, like, once you get into bed and you get into whatever position you are comfortable in, you want to become intentional about slowing down your breathing. And then you can choose one of two strategies. So you're and this also works because the most people's brain, like 95% of people, can't focus on more than two things at a time. So you're like thinking about making sure your breathing is slow and calm, and then thinking about either this or that. So this is um cognitive shuffling. So cognitive shuffling is you choose a word, we can say the word cognitive, for example. You choose a word and then you take each letter from that word and you think of as many different things that you can picture in your mind that start with that letter. So if we take the word cognitive, then I start thinking about things that start with the letter C and taking a moment to picture them in my mind. So like car, picture a car, cat, picture a cat, chapstick, picture a tube of chapstick, right? And just keep going. As many things as I can do with the letter C. When I run out of steam on the letter C, go to the next letter in my word. So it's cognitive. My next letter is O. And I start thinking of things that start with O. Octopus, picture that. Ostrich, picture that. Open door, picture that. Like there's no rules about this. Like you know, if I like open door and I picture an open door, like yes, open is a descriptive word, not a thing, but it's something I can picture in my mind, and that's the whole point of this. I've never made it to the end of a word, like for my master word, right? So like cognitive, I've never made it all the way to E. So that's one that I like. If you're really focused on the two things, on doing the cognitive shuffling and your breathing, it's really difficult to stay awake. The other one is focusing on your breathing and doing eye movements. So you can do, I'm going to get a little bit closer. So with your eyes closed, you do like left to right, up and down, diagonal to one side, diagonal to the other, diagonal to this side, diagonal to the other, and then a circle in one way and a circle the other way, and then repeat that. And so you're just like, okay, calm breathing, eye movements, and just like let yourself relax. So pick whichever one of those you like better and try that. Let me know how it goes. I would love to hear if you fall asleep faster using these strategies than you normally do. Thanks for watching. Bye.